Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We
Hi.
are so excited to be here. This is the Real Estate View. I am your co-host, Mickey, and I'm joined by my wonderful ladies, Lorraine and Kim. Hello.
Hello.
How
How's
are
everybody
you
today?
doing?
We didn't really plan that simultaneous hello, but I think it worked. I think it worked pretty well. Yeah.
We're all in sync here. So how's
That's
everybody?
right.
How's everybody?
So I want, we should probably, I don't know, this week being in July, I think, is this our first episode in July? No, it's our second episode in July. Yeah, I
Yes.
forgot we started off the month last week, but I think we have some exciting things planned for our audience this month, especially today.
We are this is exciting because we have guests.
We have company today.
That's right.
We do. All right, Lorraine, go ahead. Present our guests.
Yes, our guests today are Liz and Marie. And just to give you a little bit of background on our guests today. So Liz and Marie, they've been meeting at several events for real estate investors over the years. And so after a couple of encounters, they realized that both their work and their vision were aligned and they wanted to start collaborating on projects. So after a year of ongoing collaboration on projects and building a friendship, they decided to kind of join forces and create a real estate solutions business together. So they each had their own separate companies, but then after working together for a year, they decided to form a company together. And so really, no matter what real estate needs you have, these two ladies can help. Whether you're looking to sell a property, buy a fixer-upper, or even buy a move-in ready home, they're ready to help you. And they're based really in the sunny Arizona area, but I'm pretty sure they have knowledge regarding a lot of different areas throughout the country as well. So I think I want to kind of bring them on and they can tell us a little bit more about their story and their journey within real estate. So without further ado, here are Liz and Marie.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. And even though we're partners, we're not together today because Marie just got back from a wonderful vacation and I'm still ready to get home soon.
But you are outside. So that's the goal of summer, just to be outside these days. It's the little things. So
that is true. I'm in the mountains in Colorado today. So
nice.
Yep. So thank you for having us on. Your intro is awesome, ladies. So thank you.
Thank
you so much.
So for people that don't know you, Liz and Marie have just this wonderful personality. They are bubbly. They are
a little thing.
Super fun to hang out with. So I had the privilege of hanging out with them at another event. Was it 1 month ago?
Yes, it was the beginning of June.
Yes, and it was just so much fun to be with you and so much fun to finally meet in person after months of staying on Zoom. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. I think it's so neat to finally meet people that you already feel like you know and you have a relationship with.
Yes.
And so it was priceless.
Was that a version of networking, something that we continuously like to bring up on this show, the power of networking and just keeping in contact with different investors who are in your same space? That sounds like a little bit of what you guys encountered a month ago.
Yes, this is exactly. I mean, the power of networking is amazing. And so, and what the event that we were at, just in seeing people and realigning with people that we've met in previous opportunities was amazing. And then after this year of COVID, where we couldn't do it, that was really, really special.
Yeah, I know COVID made things a little bit tough for everybody. But, you know, in our past episodes, actually last week, we were discussing partnerships and JVs. And, you know, we were super excited. We are super excited to have you both here because you guys kind of have this amazing partnership, that we would love, and I'm sure everybody would love to hear how it got started. I know Lorraine gave a little bit of a little snippet in the bio, but coming from both of you, tell us a little bit about, how your partnership began.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will take the lead on this story because I love to tell people that Liz and I met at several events, networking events for real estate investors. And I think it was like the third time we were meeting, and she was telling me about this tree house that she worked on. And I was literally like, no, lady, you told me this story 3 times already. We've met. And she was like, oh my God. And I mean, it was an amazing story because the tree house was crazy. I mean, she literally bought a house that had a tree growing out of it that her insurance agent told her, like, oh, we can't insure this. Like, it was crazy. So I get, like, it was a great story and she loved to share it with people. But I was like, oh no, we've met because this is the 3rd time I'm hearing this story. I was like, after this meeting, you better remember me, or I'm like erasing you out of my book. We're just not ever going to talk again. And I think a little bit of my New York attitude came out. There might have been, meaner words than that, but she was like, okay, I have to remember this girl from now.
No,
that is true.
Awesome.
That is true. And I don't like that. I don't like, going back to networking. I really don't like that when you keep meeting someone that you have met. And so I really make a point. So I don't know how she didn't stick out in my mind. But I think because I was so new in the business at that point and meeting so many people that then you kind of do get overwhelmed.
Definitely.
In the networking part of that, and in that you're just constantly bombarded with new people, and so
and I should say, like, Liz is one of those people that always knows like what's going on. Like, she asks about like your family, your kids, whatever. Like, she's like a great networker. So like, it really does like hurt her heart that she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I met you 3 times and didn't remember who you were. She gets annoyed.
It sounds like Liz did the perfect thing when you're trying to network, which is be memorable, right? I mean, that story about the tree house in the middle of the house, who else is going to have that story? I mean, you're not going to really encounter too many people who like, did I tell you about the time that I bought a house that had a tree house inside of the house? Like, of course you're going to remember that. I mean, what? Yeah. So that's the number one key, Liz. So even if you were new to the industry, you did what came naturally to you.
Yes. So after you guys met like this several times for the first time, then what happened?
Well, the funny thing is we were friends and we were, in the same industry and at the same events. But really, I think what sparked our partnership was we drove from Phoenix to Vegas for that event, and we were in the car together for 4 hours. And then we were there at that event for 4 days and then drove home together for 4 more hours. Nice. And we really had time to talk about what we were doing, what we were working on, who was doing what. And we decided after that, let's start meeting regularly and see how we can share with each other and help with each other. Marie does a lot of short-term rentals, and I had an opportunity that I was working on for some mastermind classes. So I was like, oh, we could take your short-term rentals and combine it with this opportunity. And then so we started working all that. And then, of course, COVID hit and everything changed. But at that point in time, we'd already decided to start our partnership. It's hard to go alone, in anything, I think sometimes, but in this business, it's hard to know everything. Yeah. And so what Marie's strengths are not mine, and what mine are hers necessarily. Like, I do like to talk and find out as much as I can about somebody. And she's just like, get to the point. What do you want?
I'm like, tell me the numbers. Let me put them in a spreadsheet.
And I think, and I think Kim and Mickey, we can both attest to this because I believe we touched upon this before. Yes. It's just exactly what Liz just said. It's sort of like partnering with someone who doesn't have or doesn't necessarily want to do the things, or they're doing the things that you don't want to do, right? So exactly. I know that if I'm not a strong cold caller or whatever, I might want to partner with someone who actually enjoys doing cold calling and sending out direct mail or whatever it is. So that's a really great point.
And I love how you going to Vegas 4 hours in a car, staying together for 4 days, coming back. It's a lot of time to get to know someone.
Yeah.
It was a time well invested, and to know how you both bounce your different personalities and how you're complementary to each other. I love that because, as we all know, partnership is like marriage.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And that's true. And I made a joke one time, and it wasn't like, but we don't have to live together in that aspect. And that's kind of what's good that way. We can, I work with my husband sometimes, and I have to say, you're not allowed to talk about that right now. This is not, we're not talking business. So for Marie and I, we can go our separate ways and have that, but then we still do social things together, with our families and that. And then we might say something real quick about business, but we can separate that and, be like, oh, I got a call today from so-and-so and we'll follow up on Monday. She's like, okay, but we can still enjoy then each other on the personal side. So it's great.
And that was going to be one of my next questions is, how do you guys make your relationship work so well? How does a relationship work so well? And you just kind of explained that, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, you guys have this, like, it's, last week we talked about the yin and the yang, and you guys have that, like, you feed off of each other. Your energy, it just feeds off of each other. And I think that's pretty amazing that you were able to join forces to work together.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is I don't take offense to her New York personality or straightforwardness. Something in the beginning, I'd be like, oh, is she mad at me? And she'd be like, and then I started to realize that's just who she is. That's just it. So she wants the answer. She wants it now. Give it to her. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't give a lot of fluff in between.
I would have to agree with that mentality. I would. Being in New York or being a native New Yorker, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think
Lorraine,
it's
you can totally understand that. Like,
I think it's totally, yeah.
And she's like, hey, Marie, what's going on? How's the kids? How's the boy? And I'm like, Liz, I know you just called me for a work thing. Like, what is your question? Get to the point. Like, I'm with my kids and they're driving me crazy. So just tell me what's going on so I can answer your question and get back to me.
I love that.
And I'm sorry, Mickey, go ahead.
The longer we work together, I was just going to say, I think the longer we work together, the more that we do realize that we're very different in our personalities. And we did have to come up with a list actually not too long ago of like, what do you love doing in the business and what do you hate doing in the business? And we both went home, we made our separate lists. And then when we came together, it really was enlightening to see that our strengths were in different places. And we were trying to do a lot of things together, kind of like checks and balances, like keeping each other accountable. But then it was like, no, we're really better off if you stay in your lane and I stay in my lane, because this is what we're good at, So it took a little bit of work to get where we are, but we're friendly and we keep a smile on each other's face for most of the time. And it's just fun growing together.
This is so great. As you know, the Real Estate View, we wanted to give a voice to the woman in the business. There are great women that are very inspirational. And so you guys are to us. And I wanted to ask you this question. How did you make yourself, known or have your place in your market when most of those teams that we see are, there's usually men's there as well, as two women in the business? How did you make a name for yourself?
Well, I think I'm just real quick on that. For me, I don't let by gender or anything. Everybody gets dressed with one pant leg at a time. And I learned that a long time ago. And so it's not who you are, but what you're going to do with who you are. And so, I also, as some of you have seen, I'm not very tall. So I have a short stature issue too. And I can't let those things stop me, take me down, slow me down, or anything else. It takes a while, and I do a lot of self improvement stuff and stuff, to say, hey, you deserve this just as anybody else does. Why can't you go out there and be as strong as anybody else? And why can't you do that and say that and learn that? And I've also learned to say, hey, I'm not sure about that. I'll get back, or, figure it out ahead of time. But I'm not going to let somebody else beat me just because I'm a woman, or I don't think I can, or I'm too short, or whatever, So, and I know Marie's kind of that way too, because that's her strength and her New Yorkness too. But I'll let her talk about that.
Go ahead, Marie.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a fair question. I spent a lot of time, aside from doing real estate, I was an engineer for 14 years. So I was in a male dominated field. I grew up with 4 brothers. I was used to being around strong men and having to be a strong, opinionated woman, or no one was going to listen to me anyway. I think that goes back to growing up in New York as well, just making sure that your point is heard. And I think with, when I moved to Phoenix and really started getting big in real estate in general, one thing for me was like accountability, right? Like when I did start this business alone, it was hard to find the right people to connect with. And so I started my own meetup group and just put myself out there. And then once I got my meetup group going and we literally met every week, I think that made people realize like this girl is for real, right? She's not just, playing around, or she doesn't know what she's doing. She's here in this market, helping other investors in the community. Liz, that's another way that Liz and I really got to know each other, is she started coming in and being a guest speaker on topics that she was really strong about. So I just think that both of us are the kind of women that not only speak our minds, but we really like do what we say we're going to do, And so I think that has just showed a lot of people that, we're here to stay. Like we're really helping the homeowners that we're helping. We're making deals happen. We both own rentals as well as the fix and flip projects that we work on. So I think it's just key to stand up for yourself and then just deliver on your word.
That's awesome.
Well, and one other thing about that, with Marie and I, we're both faith-based women, strong faith-based women. And so our major thing is integrity and truly helping people, not what kind of deal can we get and get these people, what can we do to help you? Because you're in a bind, whether you're a hoarder, whether you're losing your house, whether it's inherited, you're out of state, whether, Marie talks about, she's experienced fires and floods. We feel that and we want to help you and not be those, when we send out messages and people attack us back, like when we're doing some marketing, that we're these scumbags, gold, diggers. And I'm offended because I'm like, I am not, I'm here to help you. All you can simply say is stop or no, thank you. But that's strong for both of us, is truly helping people and as many ways as we can. So
I was just going to say that both of everything that you both said just now was really powerful words. And one takeaway that I took from what you both just said is that you can still be powerful and dominant in your industry without being someone that other people don't want to work with, if that makes sense.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I think that's a trait that women in business, especially women in real estate, because it is a mostly male dominated industry, that either we don't want to tap into it because we don't want to be viewed as disagreeable or somebody that's hard to work with, but you sort of have to have that tough skin and that personality to be taken seriously. So it's kind of like a catch-22 sort of, but not really, because it's just what needs to be done. So I thought both of your responses were great.
No, and that's why we just really enjoy working together that way, because we can be stronger. You can be stronger together that way, is that thing, that's the catchphrase now, but we can be. And there was times that, I didn't have an answer. I didn't know, or, even, this is simple, but even for us to go view a house, we won't go alone. Like just in those kind of things, like just in our comfort zone, or we'll send somebody. So it's just, being together, just having that strength, I guess, is what I really like too.
Yeah.
So, guys, tell me a little bit about, or tell us a little bit about your business model, because I checked out your website, awesome website. If you guys haven't seen it, go to lizandmarie.com, check out their site. It's absolutely amazing. Tell us a little bit about your business model, about saving $10,000, or more.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. We really do pride ourselves on helping, and I just want to say that I think being a woman in this industry in particular, especially with what we do, is actually helpful because even my like straight New York attitude side, I still have empathy and compassion for people that you might not always get when you're speaking with a male, you know? And so not to gender, ostracize the men out there, but we really do, like Liz said, we really do care about who we're helping. And so, yeah, we've kind of put together our whole business model is we want to show you if you are selling your house, there are options, right? Everyone knows the traditional way with a real estate agent, but some people can't wait. There's reasons why houses don't necessarily sell quickly, right? Or there's reasons why you need to sell your house quicker than you would with a real estate agent. And then here in our market in Phoenix, it's become really popular. Things like Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow buys. I mean, Phoenix is such a big market.
Real quick, can you talk a little bit more about that? Because it's interesting. Up here in Colorado, I was explaining a story, and a lot of people, they had no idea what the iBuyer was or OfferPad. They'd never heard of them. So talk about that first.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, no problem. So okay. So we have, like I said, first the traditional way with a realtor. Everyone knows that path. And then, so an iBuyer is the easiest way to call it, but there's a lot of iBuyers. Like I said, there's OfferPad, Zillow buys houses directly, Open Door. We have something called 72 Sold here. They promise to buy your house in 72 hours. So there's all of these, what I like to call an iBuyer, and they're internet buyers. They're websites you can go to, you put your address in, and they will email you an offer, cash offer for your house within 24 or 48 hours, right? You fill out the information, tell them about the house. They basically run off of algorithms, right? So just like a Google search engine, these are just like, if you've been on something like Zillow or Redfin, they give you like your Zestimate for your houses. They're using these algorithms to determine what your property is worth and offering you something.
Wow.
They send you an offer and everyone's like, oh, this is great. They're going to buy my house real quick. They sent me an offer, through email in 24 hours. But a lot of the times what their market where you don't pay realtor commissions, but instead they have iBuyer service fees, right?
Of course.
Yeah. And then they also send you that, but just like when you sell your house with a real estate agent and a buyer finally comes along, you get under contract, they come and do an inspection. That's what these iBuyers do. They give you an offer, but then they come and do their inspection and then they take off for any repairs, right?
Yeah.
So they lower their price. So it's really interesting. So if you're in a market where you don't know what an iBuyer is, I would say just, you can go to OfferPad or one of those websites and just check them out. But like I said, they're really, really big here in Phoenix. So Liz and I really wanted to educate people here locally on that process and how it is different than working with a realtor. And then how even we're different from those processes, because what we like to do is come in and we want to do our inspection before we even give you that offer, because we don't want to come back later and say, we need to change the price, we need to lower it, there's things we didn't know, right? So we're going to take all of the information and come do our property walkthrough before we give an offer to our sellers. And you can really see, we've done a side-by-side comparison that shows you what it's like, the offer that you could get if you list with a realtor and the different issues that come up with paying commissions and costs and stuff like that. And then, what that iBuyer will offer you, OfferPad, Open Door, that process. And then what Liz and Marie offers you, you get at closing. Like, that's it. There's no numbers in between. There's nothing being subtracted. So we kind of broke down this process, which is a little, cumbersome. And so we have an ebook about it and a little 5-part video series on our website. So if anybody does want to check that out, it's lizandmarie.com/save now. And so we kind of explain all of that in more details, but that's kind of the quick version.
But
I know. So I want to share a story about this because Marie was in on it a little bit yesterday, but Okay, so a couple weeks ago, we put out a campaign to for sale by owners, and we had somebody contact us about an offer on their house. So I spoke with them. That's what I speak. And Marie, we came up with the numbers, and we offered them, and they were already working with the iBuyer Open Door. And so they had gotten an offer from them. And so we gave them an offer and we said, that's fine. They're probably going to have service fees. Is that including service fees or none? And she said, oh, I think they haven't done that. Figured that out yet. So so we talked, and over the weekend, we were going to meet them the next Tuesday, have a scheduled appointment with them. And she texted me and said, thank you so much. We took the offer from the Open Door offer pad, whichever one it was. We took the offer and, we're going to go. And I said, that's great. I'll keep in contact with you. So yesterday I sent her a text message and said, hey, how's that deal going with OfferPad? She's like, oh my gosh, they're like cheesy car salesmen. You couldn't have texted me at a more perfect time. She's like, we're really fed up with them. Can I talk to you tonight or tomorrow? And I said, well, tomorrow would be great. And literally while I'm sitting here, she has sent me a message that, can you talk to me in the next 30 minutes? And I'm like, I can. So they're done. They're fed up with them. And because the thing is, our offer looked lower. It was $37,000 lower. But that was our solid offer. That it wasn't going to change. But that $37,000 did not include the 5% service fee, the repair fees, the closing costs they wanted. And so now she's coming back around. So and then just in talking to people up here, they do not know what these iBuyers are. I mean, Phoenix is bombarded with a lot of different types of deals, investors and whatnot. But what Liz and Marie say we're going to do is what we say we're going to do. And we're not going to come back and change it or finagle our way or something else. So,
right. Because I think
exciting.
I think I spoke to Marie about this once before, and I told her that here in Chicago, I mean, we have tons of, we buy houses, the ugly houses, guys with the caveman outfit on. But, iBuyers, I really didn't know much about it until I heard you guys mention it. So, I mean, kudos to you guys for, putting that information out there, because a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah. And I think, just as you describe your program, what I think the biggest key about the Save 10,000, how we can save you $10,000 on your house, is also the time that you're saving people, right? So if you come across a seller who needs to sell quickly and, maybe they're looking for a certain price, and one of these iBuyers comes in and they say, we'll give you $150,000 for your house or whatever it is. And then they take you down the rabbit hole of, oh, now we got to deduct this and now we got to deduct that. That all takes time. So, sometimes it's not always the number, but it's the efficiency of the deal as well. And I think you guys are providing that through your program, because you're giving them the upfront, the real story in the beginning versus giving them something that they just want to hear, only to know that down the line you're going to end up, cutting or slashing the price to whatever it is that makes sense.
Right.
I absolutely love the transparency of your process, right? Where you tell the seller, listen, we're going to come, we're going to look, and then we'll make you an offer, right? And that's it. So it's very straightforward, very transparent, very easy to follow, instead of waiting and then after that adding all the other thing like Lorraine was saying. I just think that it's so helpful. I mean, for the buyers, for the sellers in your market, to have that tool in their hands and to really see, I love the chart that you make, because I've looked at it. I love it because it's very straightforward, right? Everything is there. And so if they are calling their iBuyer, they can literally go and follow through each one of the items and say, oh, yes, they're asking this. Oh, now they're asking this. Oh, look at that. This is coming along. So I really, really think that it was super smart, ladies.
Yes. You found your niche within a niche.
Well, because every one of when Marie does that on the Liz and Marie /Save Now, because you go watch it, it comes in at the beginning and it doesn't look like our deal's very good. And every single time it comes down and our deal's like thousands, 10,000. That's why we say $10,000 or more we can save you, because in those scenarios, they all got offered better prices, but our price still was $10,000 better bottom line price than than what they were getting. So, and that's it. Like this story with this couple, they have young children. They're not vaccinated. They don't want people in and out of their house. They don't want to have. So that again saves that opportunity without a realtor, where we're not having all these people come in. She and I need to go see it, but that's all. I mean, we're not bringing an entourage of people every day, and especially right now with how hot the market is, that it could be bombarded. So.
And think about this also too, Liz, or at least this is something that came to mind for me, is like the seller doesn't have to feel like their back is against the wall, right? So when you're dealing with an iBuyer, I mean, obviously the iBuyer is not concerned with the timeline of this particular seller or the obligations that they have. They're just looking to get a price, or looking to get a house at a certain price. But when they're working with both of you in terms of, okay, this is what it's going to be up front, we can close on your timeline, you have a choice, or at least you have a little bit more flexibility within your choice because you know what the situation is, versus with an iBuyer that might be taking extra time knowing that you have a certain deadline because they're trying to get the house for their price. So I think, again, your program is really helping people in more ways than one.
Right. And you guys are building rapport with these sellers,
Yes.
The iBuyers, it's just a form that's being filled out. You may be able to talk to somebody. I'm not sure. I've never done it, but you guys are able to speak to the sellers and understand what they're going through and offer them a solution. And Liz, the fortune is in the follow-up, because there you go. You checked in on her to see, how everything's going, and look at that.
That's exactly it. And I followed up with a few people today, and just said, hey, how's your deal going? Oh, well, if it's still under contract, but it hasn't closed. If anything doesn't work out, we'll get back a hold of you. That was 3 different people in, the last 24 hours that, we've gotten back with. So that's exactly it. And then Marie has a good story too about how she helped a gal like what you guys are talking about last year during COVID with a divorce situation. So she can share that and how vital that was to this woman and what she was able to do with her.
Yeah. So, well, it's so interesting, Lorraine, people see the headlines and they see how to save 10,000 or more. And it seems like it's just this like salesman pitch and it's just all about the money. But, I appreciate what you're saying, because I almost feel like we might need to come up with a new marketing strategy, because it's not just about the money. It is so much more about, I love to, like, when we put it up, I'm like, we can save you 10,000 or more and lots of headaches, right?
Yeah.
It's the situation. So, Liz is bringing up last year when COVID hit, I had someone reach out to me literally the end of March. So, quarantine starts out here. It started the middle of March. Mm-hmm. Banks weren't lending money. People weren't buying houses. No one was going to see a house. No one knew what was going on, right? And I literally had someone reach out to me the end of March. She was about to go through a divorce, and she was literally like, I cannot quarantine with my soon-to-be husband. She was a real estate agent who actually had her house under contract with a wholesaler. She knew it was a wholesaler, but it was someone who she had worked with in the past. That wholesaler, because COVID, none of their buyers were buying, and they couldn't get the deal closed. So she had it with them for about 30 days. It didn't go through. So starting April 1st, we put it under contract. Again, I went out there right away with my husband and my contractor. We did our initial walkthrough. We made the offer right then and there, what we could offer based on the condition of the house. I reached out to probably 10 hard money lenders. I always have one that I work with, and they were coming back, but I was nervous because, again, it was COVID. And I made sure that we had the money lined up, everything done. We closed on her property April 10th.
Wow. Nice.
So
Nice. In COVID. Wow.
In COVID. So this is April 10th, 2020. And we did let them stay in the house until April 30th so that they had time to just move their stuff. So we did a little, seller concessions where they were able to stay. We held some money back for them, but we released most of the money at closing, so they were able to hire the moving trucks that they need, right? The movers, get their situation. So that's another thing, that working with us directly, we do really want to know your situation so we know how to help you. And we can offer you things that, you know, most of the time you think, I sell my house with a realtor, that's it, I got to be out on closing day, right?
Mhm.
No, you let them stay in the house for an extra 21 days so that they can get their, you know, stuff settled and moved. So yeah, we have a great testimonial from that. And it's just shows you what we can really do. And like I said, we just stick to our word. We made that offer. We didn't change that offer. And we did it April 10th, 2020 during COVID. So.
And if I could just like pop in really quick, I think what you're describing is the difference between working with an actual person versus the internet or versus an institution. Yes. You know what I mean? Like that's the human component to wanting to help people. So that's awesome.
What I love about your story, sorry, but at least what I love about your story is that both of the story actually is the fact, you know, by the end of the day, when you go to bed, you know that you've helped someone. Right? This is the wonderful thing about the business that we do, is that we are really helping. Yes, we do make money, but first we are really helping and providing a solution that wasn't there for them, for their specific needs. I mean, like closing in such a short amount of days during COVID time, like how many people are able to do that? Right?
Right.
How many people are able to solve your problem in such an efficient way? Like this is just really, really amazing to me.
And well, just think about the headache that they saved this woman. I mean, just imagine having to quarantine with an ex-husband. I mean, goodness gracious. That in itself is just like emergency, SOS, please come help me. So yeah, I mean, come on. So just that in itself, I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, because COVID, there's a situation every single day, no matter what this is happening, that has to be addressed. You can't say, oh, well, you know, it's COVID or it's Sunday or I don't do that today or it's going to rain. I mean, you still have to, you know, a fire still happens on a rainy day. You know, a storm, this tropical storm is going to come through and there's still going to be flooding issues. There's still stuff, and you can't wait for a better day, another day, this to pass. I mean, you know, people pass away every day. Oh my gosh, I just inherited this house. I don't want the house. It's, you know, I inherited my dad's house. It was 2,000 miles away. You know, that I couldn't stop it and say, oh, can you wait till next week? Because it's not a good day for me today. So we have to keep constantly being able to help people, no matter what the situation or the timeline is, if we can.
So ladies, what's your main focus right now in the business? Are you guys doing just rentals? I know you mentioned some fix and flips. What do you guys have going on right now?
So I have a long-term rental and some short-term rentals. So I've kind of actually been turning some of my flips into short-term rentals. So I've been kind of using a little bit of like the BRRRR method. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I have been focused on. We're really, you know, together focused on helping homeowners and just promoting directly to sellers what we can do for them. I think we actually had a really interesting story that Liz can probably tell you a little bit more about, but we've been talking to someone who was another for sale by owner, but he's like at retirement age. You know, he's like in his late 50s. He's about to retire. He doesn't know if he should sell his house now, sell it later. He's got a couple of properties that he has rented. And so we are really putting together a lot of information for him to explain the difference of, you know, maybe you should wait till you leave that W-2 job because you're going to be in a different tax bracket. Mm-hmm. So that might be a better time to sell. So we're working on a lot of new information that we're going to be putting out on our website to really promote people that have had rentals and are coming up on retirement age and how to strategically let them go, maybe by doing seller financing and not getting hit with all the capital gains up front and stuff like that. So that's somewhere that we're branching out to work on right now.
Yeah, capital gains is no fun.
I know. Well, and so for both of us, though, so with that, I mean, our strategy isn't necessarily for she and I to do fix and flips together. It's more acquiring those properties and giving them to other, selling them to other investors that could do that. And then maybe holding on to some for ourselves that are more rentals that can feed our business, but not necessarily, if one of us is interested in the rehab, we might take that on in our other company. But for us, it's more just this kind of getting that house under our belt. And then, we have a lot of investor friends in the Phoenix area that are like, we need houses. Please get us houses. We know we can trust you ladies to get us the right kind of houses. So that's kind of that main goal within our business. But then we're seeing we're working now on a new program that would take we can save you this, or we can help you with the creative financing and take over your rentals and still feed you the money, or we can show you how you can sell it directly to us and be the bank. So, do the lease out. So that's our next strategy into that, is giving people, I'm tired. I don't want to deal with the tenants, toilets, and termites anymore, but I don't want to get killed in my capital gain. So what's the program you ladies could do to help me still get my stream of income, but I don't have the worries anymore? So
Perfect.
I think, Kim, Liz, you just basically highlighted each of our strengths, right? Because, Kim is the creative financing queen, and Mickey is the acquisitions and rehab expert. And, I'm involved with notes, and that involves lease options and not wanting to deal with toilets, tenants, and trash, and just basically do the passive income. So you just summed this all up in a nice bow there. Thank you so much.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we like networking with you ladies.
Exactly.
See, that all goes full circle now, right?
Yes.
And so it's phenomenal. Yeah, we'll have to get with each one of you so that we make sure that the program we're putting together is structured right, or sane right, or because the first thing out of our mouth will be, we are not accountants or lawyers.
That's right. Disclaimer.
Right.
We'd be looking forward to see how that new program develops, and follow up with you to see how everything is going with that. That sounds really great.
That would be great, because that's going to be a different target audience then, because we're going to look for people in a certain age range that have certain amount of rentals and have this program put together. And it ties straight into the Save Now, because that's still one of the 3 options that you can have. We'll still buy it from you, but this is how that'll work, or we'll just take over, how we can help you with the rental part of it. So it's exciting.
Nice. It is exciting. Well, thank you, ladies. We are going to wrap up here. It's been so great to talk with you too.
I love that.
Yes.
You have christened the Real Estate View as our
I could give you a round of applause.
Oh, I like that. We might swipe that from you. I like that.
Yeah, I love that.
It's all good. Thank you so much too for having us on. We're very blessed to be able to do that and share our message too all the time.
And as Mickey and Kim said, thank you guys so much for being our first guest. And I don't know, is there any last words that you wanted to leave our people with, or any advice that you'd like to share in your successful partnership?
Well, definitely, if you want to learn more about real estate investing and you're in the Phoenix area, we like to help and share our knowledge. So again, under LizandMarie.com, there's an area for preferred partners, and find out more about our local networking group. But other than that, we really are here to help. We love helping, whether you're a homeowner, whether you're an investor, new to real estate, been in real estate, and like Liz said, hate the tenants. We're here to help.
Yeah.
So.
And just nothing is impossible in a way that you think that I can't, that there's an impossible situation. There's not, because even if Marie and I personally can't help, we have enough people in the network or other reaching out areas to say, hey, or people that want to learn, like with the weekly huddle that Marie offers and just what you ladies offer. Then get yourself educated on learning, how you can help yourself or what part of the business you want to be in. But just when it comes to the house situations or home selling, there's nothing that's impossible because there just isn't. You just have to, it's not how, I can't do it. How can I do it? So you just got to figure out how we can do that. And if it's not us, we'll figure it out who.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're in. We're in the business of helping. So if we can't do it, we know somebody who can do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Awesome.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, don't forget to go to lizandmarie.com. Check out their website and all of the services that they provide. And until next time, know your why.
Know your heart.
And know your purpose. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.